everyone, my name is Marianna and I'm a dietetic intern here at the Primary Healthcare Center in Nepal. Today I will be showing you how to make a tomato and bean soup. It's a simple recipe, comes together very quickly, and it is also great for the cold winter months. So let's get started. Here is the list of all the ingredients we're going to be using for this recipe. We're going to need 1 can of diced tomatoes, 1 can of beans and tomato sauce, 2 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of parsley, and finally 1 cup of whole wheat macaroni. Some optional ingredients include 1 teaspoon of salt, half a cup of milk, and half a cup of cheddar cheese. This recipe takes about 10 minutes to prepare, 10 to 12 minutes to cook, and makes 6 servings. Also, before you get started, make sure to wash your hands with warm water and soap to remove germs from your hands and prevent them from spreading. Step number 1 is to add all the ingredients except for cheese and milk in a large pot. So we're going to add 1 can of diced tomatoes in the pot. For this step, you can either use fresh tomatoes or canned. A big misconception about fruits and vegetables is that fresh is better, but this is not true. Fruits and vegetables used for canning are picked at peak freshness, ensuring the best flavor and nutrient quality. They're much more affordable than fresh, equally nutritious, and it's a convenient way to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into your diet. Some tips when you buy canned vegetables is to pick products that are labeled as no salt added or low sodium. Also be mindful that cans marked as reduced sodium are not necessarily sodium free. Finally, draining and rinsing canned vegetables can also reduce their sodium content. Step number 2 is to add in the pot 1 can of beans and tomato sauce. Legumes, including beans, lentils, and chickpeas, are all great sources of plant-based protein, and they're also very affordable. They're also high in fiber, which helps you feel full for longer. For step number 3, we're going to add 2 cups of water in the pot. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of parsley. You can either use fresh or dried parsley. Fresh herbs only last for a few days, while dried herbs can last for a very long time. The general rule for swapping dried for fresh herbs is to use 1/3 of the amount called for in the recipe. So if a recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, then add 3 teaspoons of fresh parsley. We're also going to add 1 teaspoon of basil. Again, you can use fresh or dried. If the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of dried basil, that will be 3 teaspoons of fresh. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. This step is optional and you can completely skip it. Our diets are generally high in salt, which is not good for our blood pressure. 80% of the salt we consume comes from processed foods, such as fast foods, prepared meals, salty snacks, and others. By making meals at home, you can control the amount of salt you add to your food, and also, when you're grocery shopping, reading the nutrition facts table can help you choose healthier foods that are lower in sodium. Use the percent daily value on the table to check if the food has a little or a lot of sodium. If the percentage is less than 5, that means the product contains a little, and if it's above 15, that means it contains a lot. So choose products with less than 15% daily value per serving. Finally, we're going to add 1 cup of whole wheat macaroni. Whole wheat macaroni is higher in fiber compared to white. Fiber is the part of plant foods that our bodies cannot digest and can be found in fruits, vegetables, legumes such as dried beans and lentils, nuts and seeds, and whole grains. Fiber helps with bowel regularity, helps you feel full for longer, lowers your cholesterol, and helps to control your blood sugar. Next, we're going to turn the heat on to high, mix all the ingredients and bring to a boil. Once it starts boiling, you want to turn the heat down to low and let it cook for about 10 to 12 minutes or until macaroni is tender. Also make sure to stir every few minutes to prevent beans from sticking to the bottom of the pot. It's about 12 minutes later and it looks like our soup is ready. At this point you can add half a cup of milk. I'm going to use 2% milk, but you can use any kind. This step is optional, but milk is high in calcium, so adding milk is a great way to increase your calcium intake. Also in Canada, vitamin D must be added to cow's milk, so milk is also a source of vitamin D. The final step is to serve the soup in bowls and sprinkle some grated cheese if you'd like, which is also a source of calcium. The soup can also be frozen for a later time. If you freeze it, make sure to add the cheese after thawing and serving. So this is the final result. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for joining us.